right, I think we're here. We're ready to go. Hello, everybody. So tonight for Thrifty Thursday, we're going to be painting our little Mooey Christmas cow. And this one is on sale today, 25% off. I've pinned the link there if anyone is interested in this. It's about a 10-inch round, and it will be on sale just today until midnight tonight. So if you're interested in grabbing one, you can go to that link. All right. I think we're ready to roll. Hello. Hi, Cheryl. All righty. So we have our little pieces here. And of course, as always, I have to kind of set some of these aside. And I want to start with, I can't lose my little dot for my eye. I want to start by working on the back of my, he's in several pieces, as you can see. We have some painting to do tonight. Look at all these little pieces. We're going to see how fun this is. All righty. So I think what I'm going to do, I was going to stain this, but I think I'm going to stain it with some white stain and see how that goes for the background. I don't often use this one, but I'm going to get a wet wipe here and we're going to see how it turns out. And as always, I don't paint these before. I don't have a reference. We're going to just paint it together and see how that goes. So I'm hoping, I'm going to do my lettering in red, so I'm hoping that this pops nicely with the white background stained. So let's just say we're going in. We're going in. So I'm just trying to go with the grain, and I might have to put a couple coats on here just to make it pop a little bit. Just don't know yet. We're going to put this first coat on and see how it looks, and then dry it. And I might, because it'll sink in a little bit on this wood. So let's just experiment. So this is the Vintage Effect Wash by Deco Art that I'm using. It's really lightweight on that first coat, and I feel like I'm pulling off more than I'm putting on here. And I've got a fuzz or something. I'm going to blame the dog. I think it's a dog hair. Blame the poor dog. All right, so how's everybody doing? If you have any comments, I will watch. Hi, Miss Rosie. Hi, Raleigh. And there's Miss Sue. All right. Hope everybody's having a good night. And I think I am going to put a second coat on here just because it's a little light for me. I'm not sure how long this one will take. Like I said, I haven't painted it before, so we're going to find out together. So here we go. We're going to put on a second coat now that that one's dry and see how that works out. That's a little better. At least we can see the white, and we can still see the wood grain through there, which is nice. I like that. All right. Success, I think. Look at that. Oh Oh, you got your parcel? Good, Sue. Good, good. So, for anyone that's in Canada, obviously we all know that there's a postal strike here. So if you are in Canada and worried about ordering, don't, because I'm using a alternate delivery service, and they seem to be pretty quick. So sorry, Canada Post, we might just stick with the alternate one after this strike. We'll see. I'm glad you got it though. And I know Laura got hers. She messaged me the other day, or just today, I should say. Maybe yesterday. Today. I'm losing track of days. All right, so this is somewhat dry. I'm just going to set this aside because we'll come back to this after. And hang on, ladies. I'm going to just clean some paint off the edge of that. There we go. Okay, so as for our little cow, I think we're going to start. I'll just lay out the pieces because there's so many little pieces. His nostrils, his eyes, inner ears. Where did these go? Right. That one goes on this side, and this one goes on this side. And we have his horns. So we have a few things to do. All right, so we're going to use the makeup sponge method just to see. We'll see how fast it goes with this. Some of these pieces are a little bit big to do with these, but that's what we're going to do. We'll be using brush and sponge. Get my trusty tape out. Hang on to all these little pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that front part down there. I think I'm going to use some honey brown on this portion of his face. And we're just going to load that sponge. And this is always, to me, unless you have like a large piece, it's just as fast and easy to do the makeup sponge application as any. We'll be shading these after a little bit on these pieces, but to get the initial base coat on, I think this is the best way. All right, we'll dry that quick while I check the comments. I trust, Sue, that you have all of your stuff painted already that you got in your package. Or are you going to tell me how your husband will say that that's going in the hoard pile? All right, we're going to put a second coat on because that first coat sort of sinks right into the birch. So that's another thing. These are all laser cut with Baltic birch, in case you're wondering what I use for these cutouts. These ones are Baltic birch. The round is cut out of 1/4 inch so it won't warp. And then these pieces that we're going to be gluing on are cut with 1/8 inch material. And because they're going to be glued down, we're not going to worry too much about warping. They won't warp once they're glued. But the backer definitely is a thicker material. Okay, we're going to put Miss Sally's face over here out of the way and let that dry while we move on. Okay, so this little muzzle, and we have, let's get some nostrils happening here. So nostrils I'm going to do with some black. And these do paint up pretty quick. Now also, since I'm getting the black out, we have these two little white pieces inside of the eyes, but these parts of the eyes will be in black as well. So I'm going to do those at the same time, just to save some time. And just reusing some sponges that I have here. I just like to cut off the ends that I've already used, so we don't, you know, waste not, want not. There's lots of life in these little sponges yet. Okay. So we'll just set these little pieces aside again. The fun part's when we get to put it all together and see how it turns out. All right, and I think I'm going to do the nose in pink. These little inner ear pieces I'm going to do with some burlap. And what did I say? Pink. All right, reusing sponges. All right, let's go in with our pink first. We'll get the little nose painted first. All right, we'll need that again. So let's get another one here for our burlap color. Now, when you get yours, you don't have to like rush through it like I am. I'm just trying to get to the shading and assembly part. This part of basing is just to show you color placement and where I'm doing things. But I think I'm going to do, I just want to get rid of this for a second. I think I might do this top part of the head in this burlap color as well. So I'm just kind of showing the colors that I use, and these are Deco Art Americana colors that I'm using. Some of them won't be. I'm going to be using a chalk paint for my red on my letters, and I'll show you that. Basically, you can use any colors that you want to. You don't have to use specific ones or the exact same as I'm using. And I mean, you could do your cow in a completely different color than what I'm doing mine in. I'm just going to rub this one on. It's a little bit bigger. So you can kind of dab with your sponge, or, you know, use it like a sponge brush, and that works too. All right, we're going to dry and put second coats on all of this. And you can see how the second coat is a lot brighter than the first, because that first one has sunk into the wood quite a bit. You've been busy the last week, Sue? Sorry, I had to go back and find that message. I hear you there. Who has all their Christmas shopping done yet? Finished? Started? What's the verdict? I have it started, not finished. I don't have a whole lot of people to buy for, but new grandbabies due any day. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We're ready. We're ready for her. All right, so I have these two little pieces that are going to be white, and I think I'm going to do the muzzle in white as well. Let's see how all these crazy colors come together. I might have a very colorful cow. All right, white. So these little pieces are the whites of the eyes. So they are a little bit tiny, but this will come all shrink wrapped, so all the pieces will be in place so you see where they go, and also with a photo as well. When I'm finished painting all of this, I'll include the photo from tonight's painting with it so that you can refer to it, and you can also come back to this video as well if you need a reference. All right, let's dry this a little bit. You don't, would you say? I'm not even close to being finished this year, and I don't have my tree up yet. I don't have my tree up yet either. Well, I shouldn't say that. The tree is up. It's not decorated. But the tree's been up for like all year. I didn't ever put it away. I just took the decorations off and it's been up. So I'm half prepared already. That's how busy I am. I just leave it there. It's just a pencil tree anyways. It's not a huge tree by any means. All right, so that is good. We'll set that aside. We have little horns to do. Let me get these little eye pieces, and just be careful when you take them off the tape when they're delicate like that, because you don't want to break them. All right, I think I'm going to go in with some buttermilk for these little horns. And then we'll start shading all of our goodness here. And we'll see how it turns out. You're laughing about my tree still being up. It is funny, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me any. That's okay. Alrighty, let's get this last coat on here, and then I think we can start doing some shading and putting this guy together. We'll work on those letters after we get this guy in place. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the main piece, which was the first part that we did, and that was this piece here, the bigger piece, the main piece. And I'm gonna grab my angle brush right there, my friends. I'm gonna use a little bit of burnt umber. And we're going to shade the bottom edges, or the edges of this. Now this just changes everything, in my opinion. You could leave them plain, but by adding that little bit of contrast on there and that shade, it changes how it looks altogether for the better, I believe. So we're going to go along this bottom edge. So I'm just kind of rubbing my brush right on the very edge of the wood. Just to get that little bit of shade. Nothing fancy, nothing hard. And I also went right around that edge there. I'm going to go around all of these edges, around the eyes, everything, because once we have our other pieces in there, that shadow will work out nicely. Go around these little ear pieces. So I'll get this initial bit of burnt umber on here, and then I'm going to dry it, and then if we need to add more, we can. Sometimes it fades out a little bit, so after you dry it, so we just want to check and make sure if we need any more, we can add a second coat or darken it down if we need to. And also in here on this edge where everything else is going to kind of rest in there. All right, let's dry this and see how we did. Okay, I think I'm going to add a little bit more down here in these corners. But that just changed the whole look of that piece, which is pretty cool. And then I'm just going to quickly just even up any of these areas too while we're here and we have it out. Our burnt umber out, I should say. I forgot this inner ear. We'll get that while we're here. You guys must watch me do things like that, miss spots, and okay. Missed a spot. I do a lot. Usually find it though. Okay, I'm going to stop messing with this one, and we're going to move on to the next piece. I'm going to do this top piece here that fits right in here, and we're going to put a little bit of burnt umber around this too, just because it's a good coordinating color with that as well. So we're just going to go around the outer edge just the same as we did that other piece. You could do this with a flat brush too. You don't have to have the angled brush like I'm using. It's not specific to using that brush. It's just what I normally grab to shade things when I'm doing painting. So I just use the same brush. It's probably actually hard on my brush to do this on the edge of this wood. So maybe a flat would be better, or a cheaper brush. This is one of my expensive brushes that I'm probably shouldn't be using, but I am anyway, just because I can. Ooh, goodness. I just threw it across the floor. I disappeared for a minute. Sorry. Sorry, people. All right, same thing. We're going to give this a quick dry. And I'll probably dry brush this one a little bit with some white in the center there too. And I do have a stencil brush with some white that I was using earlier, so I'm just gonna, it's still kind of loaded, so I'm gonna just dry brush that white right in there because there's enough paint on here to do that. It's a little dusty. I'll wipe the dust off. So there's our other piece. So far we have the top portion. So that's how he's looking so far. Again, we're going to set these aside, but that's a little sneak peeker on what it looks like. I have pieces all over the place. I hope I can find where they're supposed to be after. All right, so these are the inner ears. I'm just going to scuff a little bit of that burnt umber on these too. A little white on there somehow. Okay, we're going to set those over here. The inner parts of the nose, I think I'm going to use a little bit of slate gray on those. And again, if you want to just leave them basic black, that's fine. I tend not to. I tend to try to, dress them up a little, put a little shading on there just to make them a little bit nicer. So there we have a little slate gray on those pieces. Again, let those dry. And we have muzzle. I'm going to use a little bit of that gray on that white portion. along this bottom edge here. And then we can do that on that inner part where the nose is going to sit in. And I'll dry that a little bit. The nose. I have some, it's dragon fruit. I think it might work. We could probably use a little raspberry, or this dragon fruit color will work just fine. I think we're just going to shade that with a little brighter pink, which this is, on that bottom edge, and we'll put a little highlight of white along the top. So I'll dry that and then highlight the top with a little white. Let's see how that works. All right, I'll dry that little piece and we can put it in here with our nostrils and see how that's looking here in my face. All right, so this pops in here. And our little nostrils go in here. We got some white on the edge there of my nostril. We can't have that, see? All right, fix that. So that's how that's looking. That looks good. Inner ears are done. We just have these little horns to shade. Again, we're going to go in with our burnt umber. And then we should be able to bring our round back over and get our cow kind of in place and just leave them sit there for a second while we work on our letters. But I mean, really, that didn't take super long, even with all these little pieces. I'm surprised. I'm kind of shocked, because usually the more little pieces you have, it takes a little bit longer than most, but we did okay. All right, I'm going to dry these, and then I'm going to highlight the top sides of the horns with some white too. And that is great. All right, our little horns are done. I think I can already see he's gonna look pretty cute. He's gonna be cute. All right, you guys are talking. I gotta know what you're saying. He is cute, Sue. I think so too. I have to know what you're saying. I'm just nosy that way. Just nosy. Bear with me. I'm scrolling. Okay, I am wearing, I can type now. Okay, I have a pencil tree up. It is pre-lit. I have not decided not to decorate this year. I gotta see more. What'd you say? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that, Carolyn. Yeah, I hope you do have the energy to enjoy some of your Christmas for sure. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling okay. Otherwise, that can be so draining. Hi, Miss Karina. Okay, let's bring our round over here. Let's get this paint out of the way. I don't trust myself. And let's put this little guy, let's see what he's looking like. So we have our main piece that comes down here. And all these little nose pieces, we're going to have to put it back together on here because it all comes apart. Oh, look at that. It's looking cute already. Alrighty. So far, so good, I think. Looking adorable. All right, we have this little pop in there. Now we have horns that go on here. What do you think, ladies? You thinking that it's working out? We have inner ears to go in. I'm in love with this cow. He is adorable. All right, we just have eyes. He's a little blind right now. But I wanted to... Okay, let me set this fella aside for 1 second. Please don't fall over. Okay. I wanted to put a little bit of gray in here on these. Just on these little round parts here. Now, it's probably overkill. I probably don't have to, but I want to. I want to do it. Just to break up all of that black on there. So let's dry that and we'll put those eyes in and then our little man will be able to see. I'm loving him though. He's pretty cute. He is so cute, Carolyn. I'm loving him. Finish your chemo, having surgery next week, and then you have radiation after surgery. That's such a process. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get his eyes in here. So we have, oh my gosh, oh my god. So we have these little whites of the eyes that pop in here too. How sweet is this cow? Can't even. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at how cute that is. All right. So we have our little holly to paint yet and our letters. So I think with the red letters, it's really going to pop there on that white background. I am going to do red. I think it's just because I want it to pop. So, all right. Let's get this guy out of the way. I'll let you have one last look at him because he's adorable. How could you not love him? Let's see what you're saying. It does look like you, Jim. You're funny. Cousin Jim, always chiming in. Okay. Sue, you can have one. You know it, girlfriend. You can have one. All right. So let's get... We'll get our green on here, and then we'll base under our red with some gray first. But we'll get this holly leaves started first. See, not very much more to do, and then it's just a matter of gluing down. I'm not going to glue it down on camera just because it's obvious where to glue it down. But I'll have it all sitting there. You guys can do that on your own if you grab one of these kits. So I'm just putting a Hauser medium green color on here. And then we'll highlight and shade these two. And then we'll work on our letters. But honest to goodness, we've only been on here like 40 minutes. Look how fast that little guy painted. Still laughing at Jim's comment. Couldn't help himself. He had to comment. It's a wonder my dad's not on here at the same time making comments. All right, we'll set that aside. We'll get our letters based with some gray, and also our berries here. They're going to be red as well. Out of gray there. Ooh. So I'm going to put the gray under there just because if I don't, then it takes more layers of red paint to cover. It just covers better. You probably only have to use 2 coats of red, where, you know, you might have to put continuous layers and layers of red just to get it to pop. But by putting this gray, it kind of serves like a primer under there, under your red. And I'm going to use this cranberry sauce red, the Country Chic paint red for this. It's an extra step, but it'll save you time in the long run. All right. We'll dry this completely before we put our red on here. So I'm going to put 2 coats of red on and see how that goes. I think it should be enough. And then we can work on our holly while that's drying. I need to get this one cut. So this is just what I do with these sponges. Don't throw them away after you're done using them, because once they're dry, you can just cut that end off and use them again. And then you won't use as many sponges. Not that they're expensive, but I mean, why throw them away when you can use them over and over? All right. Let's get this on here. So the first coat will most likely be super dull, and that's why I want to put 2 on here. But even with that gray under there, that first coat looks pretty good. All right, there's coat 1. And that dries pretty quick. Let's get some stuff out of there. Chalk paint always dries fast, I find. And I think I'm going to stick with just 2 coats. I mean, it looks fine to me. I don't think we have to overkill it with another coat. It's red enough for my liking. Now I'm not I was going to put a little bit of white edging on this. I'm not sure. I might still. We'll see how it looks when we sit it on our board. I don't want, because it's a white background, I don't want to have any of it get lost by adding white to these letters. I think maybe it's fine just to leave them red. We will see, my friends. We will see. Okay. So when you take this is, a long word. So you don't want to, these are very thin little pieces. So be very careful when you take it off that tape, because I'm just going to sit it up there, because you can snap it easily. And then it won't hurt it, but you'll have to glue it together and you'll be just disappointed that you broke it. I've been there, I've done it. That's why I'm saying it. All right, so we're just going to shade. Let's get some dark green out here. We're going to shade the bottom edges of our holly. I think we're going to put it like that. So these will be the bottom edges of the holly, and then we're going to highlight with a lighter green on the top edges. So all along this bottom edge here. And again, you could just leave it plain, but I think it just adds to it to add the little extra with the shading and the highlighting, in my opinion. And I'm just going to put a little more of that darker green on there. Okay, so let's get the light green out. So these are just Hauser medium, light, and dark that I use for my greens. Nothing fancy there. It's all the same. As long as you have a light, a medium, and a dark, you can do exactly this. So we're just going to, on the opposite side, just do that little bit of a highlight with the lighter green. And then this top edge with that lighter color too. And I'm going to dry this and add a second coat because it's a little bit transparent, that light green. So it might fade out here as I dry it. I'm losing my voice. All right, as suspected it did, so I'm just going to add an extra little coat on there. And then we can move on to our little berries here. I do want to, let's see where these kind of land here. Like that, I think. And now I got some green on my berry with my big fat fingers. So I'm just going to shade a little bit of black on the bottom edges. Oh, I'm telling you, on the bottom edges of these little berries. So we can see the divisions. And then I'll highlight with a little bit of white on the top. A little overkill for tiny berries, but you'll be thankful that you did in the end. Okay. You were so caught up in watching, you forgot to say hi. Oh, that's okay, Laura. I saw you come in. It's all right. All right, so let's get rid of, you see this paper I have here. It's got a lot of red paint on it. So I'm just going to flip that over so that I don't get red paint all over everything when I bring this back down here. All right, so here's our little guy. Cute little feller. And I like the red lettering on the white stained background. Let's see here. So we have our holly on his head. Berries in the center. And then we just have to add our O's and Y. Where'd my Y go? Oh, Lord, help us. There it is right in front of me. For heaven's sakes, thought I lost it. I was losing it all right. And then I have my little dot for my I. And I messed up my Mooey. Fabulous. He's fabulous. How cute is that? I love it. What do you think? I think he's sweet. Give me some hearts, some thumbs up if you like it. And if you like it enough, then make sure that you pop over and grab one. They're 25% off till midnight tonight for this kit. And then after midnight, they'll go back to regular price. So if you want one, grab it on the discount. Because, I mean, how cute. How cute. Adorable, I believe so. Yeah. Very cute. And you do need one, Sue. I mean, who doesn't love cows? All right. So cute. Yes, he is. All right. So again, you can paint this any way but you want, but I think this one turned out just fine. And if you wanted to go by my color scheme, you can actually come back and watch this video and just paint it exactly the same if that's what you're interested in. I know you do. You need to add them to your collection, Sue. Your husband is going to seek me out one day and, you know, have words with me. I'm sure of it. All right, ladies. So I have pinned the link for this guy here at the top of the comments. It should be right at the top of the comments when you go back in here. And it will take, he is moveless. It'll take you right to my store and you can grab you one. All right. Thanks for hanging with me. We'll see you all next week for Thrifty Thursday. We're not sure what we will. He'll be dropping me on your doorstep. Well, that's all right. You got lots of room. Yeah, so next week we're not sure what we're painting. Week after week, I just kind of pick a project and go from there. So it's always a surprise for me too. All right, ladies, thanks again for hanging out, and